Bangladesh in the agro sector. In the agriculture and agro sector, the potential is very strong, and I think that I don't even have to explain, because everybody understands that this is a country that has a strong and favorable climate. We have a very fertile soil, and we have a strong rural foundation. So the agro sector, the agriculture sector in general, can evolve into the next strong sector that will lead Bangladesh forward. The agriculture sector is a strategic sector for two reasons. Number one, the need that we have in this country to give a job to more than 2.5 million people every year coming into the labor force. There is no another sector in Bangladesh right now besides the RMG sector, and the RMG sector is facing challenges because they need to be looking for more productivity, so they are probably going to be reducing the capacity to grab more manpower in the RMG sector. So the agro sector and the agriculture and the agro-processing sector is the only sector we have, so it's a strong need for the country. If we don't go into that direction, we are going to be facing a lot of problems, because these 2.5 million people they are unskilled people yet. The skilled force will come later on, but right now it's unskilled people. So we have to really consider that it's between everybody, we have to make the agro sector moves forward. So this is one of the needs. The other one, okay, I think that's basically the important thing. The other one thing that we also know, when talking about the advantages now, this country has already 35 million people, middle class, okay? It means they need new things. They are also very concerned about security in the food that they are eating every day, and they have something that I really always appreciate in Bangladesh. They trust a lot the European values, the European, how to do the business, the cleanliness. If European companies come to Bangladesh to work in the agro-processing, in producing and to do agro-processing and to work in the agriculture sector, everybody will have a much strength, trust in the food they are eating every day, because they recognize Europe as a place where we control, and we know very well how to move forward into giving the right. I got myself. It's about health and security. Europeans, we bring good governance and we bring good quality standards into the process. And then one thing that is also very important, if we get into the agriculture and agro-processing sectors, European companies, the Dutch companies we have so renowned, you make sure that your capacity to export products from Bangladesh will be much higher, because that's one of the challenges we have in Bangladesh, to have access market, to make people abroad to trust that we are processing with the right systems and with the right standards. So finishing with the important of the potential. The potential is there. Now we need to understand what we have to do to be able to attract, and what are the goals we have to achieve to make the sector strong, and that people will trust it and that people want to come in here, okay? So in this case, we have to discuss that we have to move forward and to make the system to make business in Bangladesh is what we call the easy to do business. So we have for instance, a company that comes to Bangladesh will take such a long time to be able to start any kind of business that is discouraging. So the first thing we will propose is provisional licensing. Why we cannot accept an investor to come, give him a provisional license within 2-3 weeks, get ready to start, we will process the final ones in the meantime, but right now, you can go ahead. Then they don't have to be sitting and stopping, and if they have to acquire land, this is a big process. They have a lot of challenges. But if we give them the license, say, look, you are ready, go ahead, you can start from 3 weeks after. We will keep processing with one-stop service later on. That will be happening, and that can conclude. Then the other one thing that is also important is, if we have one-stop service, but still it doesn't mean we have to get a lot of licenses in the process, maybe now and maybe after 6 months or 7 months, whatever. But the people that guarantee, that give that grant the licenses, they need to have a commitment. They need to have a time frame. And otherwise, we have to establish what we call positive silence. Means if the authorities do not give us the license on the right time, the license is granted. Like that, you avoid having to be begging, my time is already finished, I need this license or not. I need to understand that you also have a responsibility to finish the process in the due time. Okay, another one thing should be digitalization. Obviously, everybody understands, not only in the agro sector, in every sector in Bangladesh, we need to digitalize in order to stop human intervention, make things easy through the digitalization system, which will be avoiding a lot of the problems that we are normally having right now. That is the key, probably the key challenges, and that's an important thing that we have to consider, all of us. So if you need to have people from Europe to come in here, especially from the Dutch companies, you need to activate the PVP authority. Activate means not really working. We have been announced that this is moving and such, but the real establishment, official establishment, is still not started. And this is a must. You have to push to get this ready. Otherwise, people will be much concerned about coming to Bangladesh. You know, intellectual property, I mean, especially for the seeds companies, that they want to bring all this innovation to Bangladesh that will be helping us so much in here to evolve into the right direction. They don't feel protected if you don't move ahead also in the IP and IPR protection. So that should be also another one thing that we have to grab right now. We have to address it and have to try to make it happen quickly. Then, obviously, we have to strengthen the phytosanitary certification process. And that, one of the strong recommendations, we have to do that, because we want to export. It's not only for Bangladesh, we want to export. If we make this certification process easier, it will be good for the exporters to do, and it will be interesting for the companies to come to Bangladesh as well. And obviously, one thing that we have to consider is, if we have strong certificates when we are importing from Europe, which are the strongest ones you can get in the world, why we cannot use these certificates instead of, again, retesting in here? That's losing time and money for everybody, and it's also a big problem and a challenge for everybody that is in Bangladesh. And everybody elsewhere, they are accepting the certificates from Europe, because we have, official labs that they are recognized, that when the lab that is issuing the certificate is on the list in the European Union list, you should be accepting it, because it's a very strong one. And then, obviously, the key policies we have also to help now as an investors is not only for the agro sector, it's for all the investors in here. Obviously, we have to have and need to work very strongly, which is now in process anyhow, because VIDA is also working on that, but we have to improve it, is to simplify the profit repatriation. Then we also have to consider another issue that some of the companies working in here is about the machinery and equipment transfers. I mean, if companies, they want to renovate their machines, in our system in Bangladesh, you have to, once you brought it maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, now you want to have a much better one because you want to increase your productivity. What do you do with this machine? So normally what is happening is that they have to put it into a scrap, or they have to have a high tax rate in the years. They consider the machine new, basically, for paying the taxes. This is discouraging innovation in those companies. We have to find an agreement on that area on how people can continuously innovate. Innovation means you will produce much better, in a much better way, and probably sometimes you can do extra things as well if you have new machines around. So, and then, as obviously, this is a new sector, new people need to come. It should be important that we can have a kind of tax holidays or tax incentives for these new people, that they are taking the risk at the beginning to come into a new market. And just for closing, and this is also not only for, but especially for the agro sector and for agro-processing. This country normally focuses a lot in the EPZ areas. Okay, for industries, maybe it's okay, but in the rural areas, you cannot go to the EPZ areas. You have to stay in the rural area. So why do you extend benefits to the other places, to the other industries, and don't extend this to the same, that you are inside or outside the EPZ, why do you discriminate the location? Investors are okay, they come, what if they decide to be? Because they need to. In our case, it's not that they can go to any one of the EPZs, they have to be where the agriculture is. So that's the other one recommendation that we have, probably. So, and besides, just, I think that I can just close because everybody's tired of all these presentations and waitings. So the conclusion is that the agro sector, the agriculture sector, it's a must for Bangladesh because it will create especially jobs. Yesterday, Dr. Yunus says one thing, making business is in one direction for making profit, which is also good. But when you are making business and at the same time you are giving a social benefit, let's put it like that you are creating jobs for all these people that do not have access to another job because they are still not qualified, it should be a must that we also have to consider especially for the agro and the agricultural and agro-processing sectors. Thank you for your time.